As I told you that GSM architecture consists of, we can say, mobile station, base station subsystem, then network subsystem, and all is having various parts. Mobile system consists of mobile and SIM card, then BSS consists of BST and BSC. MSC means mobile switching center. So I told you that if I am keeping one BSC BTS in one area of Ahmedabad, one BSC in Ahmedabad city itself, then I have to put one MSC in one state, Gujarat. Right? So they are putting such kind of instruments in various range. They are having fixed range. We have gone through all these things. What are the, you can say, functionality of MSC, home location register, visitors location register, authentication center, equipment identity register. We have gone through all these things. Then I explained you what is cell, what is cellular network, why the shape of cell we have selected is hexagonal, and hands off we have gone through hard hands off and soft hands off. Then we have gone through mobile IP. Just a quick revision of mobile IP. As we know that suppose we want to send a letter or a packet from one place to another place. So in that case, what we are doing, we are writing the source address and the destination address, right? So now we are using our mobile movingly. I am moving from one place to another place and using my mobile. Suppose I am going through one bus or car and I'm using internet, I'm using phone call. So I need a IP which is not a stable, which is dynamic IP, right? Up till now, what we are using, we were using our PC, so we were having static IP. Now we need a mobile IP. So whenever you go, you can have that particular IP. You can send the messages. You can talk with that particular person. You can see the videos, send the videos. Okay. So it is available anytime and anywhere. For that, what we needed exactly, we were having two address. The first is home address, that is the static address. Second one is care of address, which was the roaming address. Whenever you will go to the new place, you will going to assign a care of address. We need a two agent, foreign agent and the home agent. And data can be transferred through the tunnel. We have gone through all these things in last time, that suppose a server wants to send a packet to the home network. I have given the example that one particular person to whom I have to send one urgent letter on which I need a sign of that particular student. I have address of that student. I'm going to send that packet onto his house address, his home address, but that particular student is not available at home address. So in that case, what I have to do, I have to send that packet to his home address because I'm having the home address only, but it is urgent. So his parent will going to read that particular letter and they're going to send that letter to the, we can say, his foreign address. That particular person is on a resort of Mount Abu. So that resource manager work as a foreign agent. He will going to get this packet and he will send that packet into that particular foreign network, and that mobile node, that particular person will going to get that packet. He will sign and give back to the foreign agent, and that foreign agent will return that packet to the server. So it will travel through a particular tunnel. A datagram, a packets are going to travel through the particular tunnel that we have seen yesterday. So whenever I'm going to ask you a mobile IP architecture, you have to draw architectures, like such architecture you have to draw. Okay. Then we have gone through three statements: agent discovery, registration, and tunneling. Agent discovery means the foreign agent and the home agent both have, you have to find out For example, suppose I want to inquire someone's information. In that case, I have to ask first that what is the name of that particular person, at what address that person is staying. So such kind of information I have to discover. So for mobile, you have to discover the foreign agent and home agent. Second thing is, if your mobile is at home network, then it is going to register the home address. If it is not in home network, its current location is at foreign place, then foreign has network agent has to do the registration in that particular foreign network. So registration is the next process. Tunneling. Tunneling means the packets which are going to travel through particular route. That route is known as a in internet whenever it is on home network or whenever it is in roaming address. So that particular process is known as a tunneling. Okay, so I told you how to discover. So agent or is going to we can say do the advertisement, and it is going to send the one kind of discovery message, agent solicitation message. An agent is having home agent and foreign agent and mobile node. They all are having particular IP address, which consists of network part and the host part. So whenever this advertisement message will receive by our device, it is going to compare the network part. If the network part is similar, it means our mobile is in home network, because home network has already registered our IP, mobile IP. And if the network part is not similar, in that case, our mobile device is not in home network. We are moving somewhere else, maybe not in Ahmedabad, in Bangalore, in Mumbai, somewhere else we are. So in that case, we have to ask for the care of address. So mobile IP of our mobile will going to ask for the care of address, that my network part is not matching. I am not in Ahmedabad. I need a new address for an address, and that is the care of address that is going to assign when it is not in home network. So the next process is agent registration. Okay. So if that care of address is of foreign agent, in that case, foreign agent has to send the request to the home agent, and home agent will reply, and the registration can be done for the foreign agent. If our foreign agent is not a foreign agent, it is a home agent, then mobile node will going to request for the registration to the home agent if we are in home location, and the home agent will going to reply. So this is the registration process. And the third one is tunneling. Tunneling means to establish one pipe. Data is going to insert from one end and it is going to retrieve from the other end. It is working in, first out. So whatever message we are sending first, that is going to receive the first. Tunneling is performed by using encapsulation. Encapsulation means hiding or putting the data into a packet and decapsulate that particular packet at the remover end. So this is the, we can say, tunneling process, encapsulation and decapsulation of our packets. Remaining we will see later on. That is not that much important. Now I'm going to start the Bluetooth. Bluetooth was borrowed from the 10th century. A second king of Denmark, he was, we can say, famous for inventing a Bluetooth. His intention is to send messages in a cellular system or in a PC within a short range without wires. So Bluetooth is a wireless technology. We all have already used Bluetooth, as and when required we are using Bluetooth. So Bluetooth, we know that it is a wireless technology. It is used to transfer data between various electronics devices. Bluetooth is a high-speed, low-power and microwave wireless link. It is designed to connect the phone, laptops, PDA and other portable equipment together with the little or no work by the user. The distance of data transmission is small in compared to the other mode of wire communication. This technology used for the, we can say, eradicates the use of cables, adapter, and permits the electronics device to communicate wirelessly among each other. We know that in Bluetooth we are not using any kind of wires or cable. It allows us to transfer data using wireless technology within certain distance, and we can say transferring information between various devices like phone, laptop, PDAs. So Bluetooth was invented exactly in, we can say, 1994 by the Ericsson. The company later started working with the large group of companies called Bluetooth Special Interest Group (SIG), Special Interest Group, to develop the technology into which it is today. Bluetooth is not owned by any of the company, and it is developed and maintained by only SIG, Special Interest Group. The name Bluetooth came from a code name originally used by SIG for the project and is a reference to a 10th century Danish king named Harald Bluetooth, who was responsible for uniting Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. So this Danish king has invented first it. Then Ericsson has in 1994, Ericsson has started working on this. They have created one group. So we can say that on the basis of this Danish king, they have created the name of Bluetooth. People are telling that his teeth are just like colored. That's why he is known as a Bluetooth. They have used, or we can see invented this symbol on the name of that particular person. They were having some sign language at that time. So the sign language for B is this, and the sign language or the arrow of H is looking like this. So from these two sign languages, they have, we can say, invented the symbol of Bluetooth, which is looking like this in our mobile phone. So what exactly the Bluetooth technology? It comprises of baseband processor, a radio, and an antenna. The baseband processor converts data into signals. The antenna of other Bluetooth device within at least 30 feet distance and receive a transmitted signal in the air. So within 30 feet distance, they are going to, we can say, they going to transfer the data into the signal, and the both Bluetooth devices are using antenna kind of thing, so they can transmit that signal through the air. They are using frequency hopping spread spectrum, which is one of the two basic modulation techniques used in spread spectrum signal transmission. Frequency hopping spread spectrum means what? Suppose I want to send some packet, so my packet will transfer through for initially first this we can say spread hopping spread spectrum of frequency. Then it is going to use this frequency. Then it is going to use this frequency. Some part is using this frequency. Some part is using this frequency, though they are using different frequency every time. It is not going to travel through the same frequency, because sometime in past it was happened that they have sent signal using one frequency every time, and there were chances of, we can say, attack on same frequency signal. So at the time of our World War II, they have jammed our total radio communication because we were using same signal frequency. That's why they have attackers have attacked on same frequency, and they have jammed all the communication, wireless communication. So at that time, for the help, they were not able to talk with the radio, and they have find out the solution for that on immediate basis. So what Bluetooth is doing? Bluetooth is using frequency hopping spread spectrum. So they are using different frequencies a different time. They are not similar using same frequency all the time. Frequency is going to switch repeatedly during the radio transmission to help to reduce the unlawful access or other means of telecommunication to cross path and causes the interruption. So these are the advantages. Unlawfulness access is not possible. Crossing of path and interruption is also not possible if we are using frequency hopping spread spectrum. Which kind of devices we can connect through the Bluetooth? The first one is headset. You are using Bluetooth in car system, Bluetooth equipment, printer is there, web cameras are there. You are using Bluetooth in GPS system, Bluetooth keyboard are there. So these are the various type of Bluetooth devices which is used to transfer data between the devices. We know that Bluetooth has replaced the cable for transmitting information from one electronics device to another electronics device. That is why it is important. It has decreased strain like carrying phones while talking, making hands-free to do the another work. It is cheaply available. Its mobility is also very important, and it doesn't need any powerful outlet or internet connection or any other item. We know that we don't need any kind of other cables, internet connection. Once we will start Bluetooth, it is going to create its ad hoc network. Ad hoc means temporary network. Until we want to transfer our data, we can use that network. Once we will transfer our data, means it is going to finish, then we can dispose that particular ad hoc network, or we can close that ad hoc network from our mobile phone. So we don't need any kind of internet, we don't need any kind of cable. So it separates the frequency band into hopes. The spread spectrum is used to hope from one channel to another, which adds a strong layer of security. I told you it is using frequency hopping spread spectrum, not a single frequency. It is changing the frequency, hoping this frequency. That's why it is very much secure. Up to 8 devices, you can form a network, and that 8 device network is known as a piconet. The other main advantage of Bluetooth, along with the wireless, or we can say cable-less and ad hoc network, the third advantage, it is going to we can say connect up to 8 devices, and that 8 devices are again able to connect with the other devices. So the one network is going to connect with the other network is going to connect with the uh, further network. So signal can be transmitted through the walls and briefcases, thus eliminating the need of line of sight. Devices do not need to be pointed at each other, as the signals are of omnidirectional. Government worldwide regulate it. It is possible to utilize the same standard whenever one travels. Omnidirectional signals are there. Not a line of sight is required. You can see it in any corner and you will get the signal. Now, I told you that Bluetooth is going to replace the cable. Bluetooth is going to provide the ad hoc network, and access point can be any device from that particular connected 8 device. Now, we will see the architecture of Bluetooth. Architecture of Bluetooth is really very simple. First is Bluetooth will going to form a piconet. Piconet means what? All devices in a piconet can hope together. There are master and slave. Master gives slaves its clock and its device ID. Non-piconet devices are standby. So in this figure, you can see here, we are having total 8 devices. One device will on the Bluetooth and the become a master device. And the other 7 devices, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and other 7 devices become the slave device. So from that 8 device, one device is master and the other devices become the slave. And this architecture or this figure is known as a piconet. You can see here in this laptop, the Bluetooth is on. This Bluetooth signal can be used by these 7 devices by switch on. They have to switch on their Bluetooth also. So digital camera, this cell phone, this printer, PDA, cell phone of other person, third person. So this cable modem, which all are working as a slave device in this network, in this piconet, and this PC is known as a, this laptop is known as a master. So it is going to connect up to 7 other devices, slave devices. Bluetooth architecture defines the two network. The first is piconet and the second is scatternet. Piconet consists of, I told you that one primary node that is called master and 7 active secondary node that is called slave. Piconet can have up to 8 active nodes, and it can send the data between the 10-meter distance. They can only one primary master station at each piconet. So there is one master at one piconet, right? And other slave devices. The communication between the primary and secondary can be one-to-one or it can be one-to-many. All communication is between master and a slave. Slave-to-slave communication is not possible. In addition to 7 active slave stations, a piconet can have up to 255 park nodes. You can see here. Okay. The device can be slave in one piconet can and the master of other piconet. You can see here there are two piconets combined and they are making scatternet. This is first piconet, this is second piconet. Okay. So in this first piconet, we are having this device as a master and the remaining 7 devices are our slave device. But one of the slave device, it can become a master device for the other piconet. and it is going to connect with the other slave devices, right? So if the slave device of this network can also become a master device of the other network, and you can connect the other devices up to 7. Total 8 will be there. So you can again form a, we can say, one network here, piconet here. So combination of piconet is known as a scatternet. They are making scatternet by combining the piconet. Suppose I am using my laptop and I have connected many devices from one device, that other laptop or other mobile, other person's mobile, it can again connect with the next 7 devices by being a master. So scatternet it formed by combining various piconets. A slave in one piconet can act as a master or primary in other piconet. Such a station or node can receive message from the master in the first piconet and deliver the message to its slave in the other piconet, where it is acting as a master. This node is also called bridge slave. Okay, this node is called bridge slave. So this station can be a member of two piconets, but this station cannot be a master in two piconets. It is known as a bridge slave. Now we will see the protocol stack architecture. See here, it is having various layers, like we can say OSI model or TCP/IP model. The first layer is, we can say, physical layer. Second layer is baseband layer. Third layer is link manager. Fourth layer consists of service discovery, telephony, RF communication, LCC, audio control application. So these are the various layers. You can see here physical layer consists of what things? Physical. Data link layer consists of baseband and the link layer. This is the main architecture of Bluetooth, right? The question can be asked in exam, explain piconet and scatternet. The next question I can ask you is explain architecture of Bluetooth. So you have to draw this figure. The third one is middleware layer, and the main is application layer, which consists of application profiles. Middleware layer consists of, I told you, service discovery, control, telephony, RF com, logical link control, and audio. So this is the main figure for the Bluetooth layered and protocol architecture. We will see functionality of one by one layer. The first layer is physical radio layer. This physical radio layer is just like your physical layer of TCP/IP model, which is going to check the air interface. Because Bluetooth is affected by the air interface, you have to check the, it is going to check the weather also, whether it is rainy, whether there is some problem comes in that particular environment. Because we know that sometimes the environment is not proper. In that case, we will lose the connection of our internet. Sometimes we lose the disconnection of our TV. So this kind of layer is going to check the environment, whether there is any interference in that particular environment or not. Next is, this is baseband link controller. This come under the data link layer. What it will do? Baseband link controller, it is going to help to search the nearest Bluetooth device. If my device is master device, and you, whenever you are switch on your Bluetooth, it will going to show you the devices which is in your range. It will show you that this is the device of particular person which is in your range, which are having their Bluetooth on. So this layer's responsibility to help to search the nearest Bluetooth device. Now the next layer is link manager. Now what is the link manager? Suppose I have connected the Bluetooth with the other mobile of other person, and we are sending some particular, we can say I'm sending him some particular song or some good video, or we can say some messages, images. So until I'll send my data, there is a need of establishment of a link, and we have to manage that link until the work will going to finish or the data will going to complete, sending complete. So this is the responsibility of link manager protocol. Until the work will finish, it is going to manage the link between two mobile, or we can say two Bluetooth devices. The next is logical control and adaptation. It is working on the cable replacement policy. It is provide connection-less and connection-oriented services like TCP/IP and UDP. So it provides TCP and UDP both the kind of services. It is cable replace working on cable replacement policy. Now we will see service discovery, which comes under the middle layer. So service discovery means it provide various services. You can transfer file, you can call, you can establish the call. So such kind of services can be provided by this service discovery protocol. Next is telephony and the cable replacement protocol. You can see here after connecting the device, so telephonic control protocol, it written everything in brief. Let's see one by one, brief. Okay, as I told you that radio layer, it is similar like the physical layer of OSI model. It deals with the radio transmission and modulation. The radio layer moves data from master to slave and slave to master. Bluetooth uses the frequency hopping spread spectrum method in a physical layer to avoid the interference from the other devices or the network. Bluetooth hops 1600 times per second. Each device changes its modulation frequency 1600 times per second in that frequency hopping spread spectrum. In order to change the bit into a signal, it uses the version of FSK or GFSK called, we can say, Gaussian bandwidth filtering. So this is the responsibility of radio layer to connect the device and manage the frequency hopping spread spectrum. Communication is a half duplex in which receiver can send and receive the data, but not at the same time. As we know that if I'm sending some photos to some other Bluetooth person, which is having access of that particular Bluetooth device, he has to wait until he will receive the whole data. Because both the time communication parallelly is not possible, full duplex is not possible. You have to use half duplex here. If the Piconet has only no slave, the master uses even numbered slot 0, 2, 4, and the slave uses odd number slot 1, 3, 5. Both the master and slave communication in half duplex mode. In slot 0, master sends and secondary receive, while in slot 1, secondary sends and primary will receive. So they are doing communication of sending and receiving in odd and even slot. If Piconet has more than one slave, the master uses even number slots and the slave can send into next odd number slot if the packet in a previous slot was addressed to it. In the baseband layer, two type of link can be created between the master and the slave. The first is asynchronous connection lays, and the second one is synchronous connection oriented. As I told you, it is helping us in sending, creating link like TCP and UDP, connection oriented and connection lays. So it is used for the packet switch data that is available at irregular interval. ACL delivers traffic on based effort basis. Frames can be lost and may have to be retransmitted. A slave can have only one ACL link to its master. Thus, ACL link is used where correct delivery is preferred over fast delivery. The ACL can achieve maximum data rate of 721 kbps by using 1, 3 or more slots. So here the best delivery is main concern, not a fast delivery. If the frame is lost, they have to retransmit the form, that particular frame. Synchronous connection oriented. It is used generally for the real-time data such as sound you want to send. It is used where fast delivery is preferred over accurate delivery. In this link, the physical link is created between the master and slave by reserving specific slots at regular intervals. If the packet is going to damage, it is not going to retransmit. The slave can have three synchronous connection oriented links with the master, and they can send data at 64 kbps. So some of the data like sound, if the packet is going to loss, then there is no facility of retransmission like asynchronous connection lays. This is used for when you need a speedy, we can say, delivery is required. Logical link and control adoption protocol. This protocol is equivalent to the logical link control sublayer of our LAN. It uses L2CAP for data exchange. Its function, we can say, segmentation and reassembly. It is going to receive the packet up to 64 kbps, and it divides that packet into various small frames that we were doing in TCP also, and then it is going to transmit. Again, it is going to add the extra information that we were adding in packet, like location information and original and source and destination information with that packet. It is going to reassemble the frames into packet again at the destination. So whenever we are sending any data from that particular source, the data is going to divide into the, I mean packets, data are in form of packet, and that packet is going to divide into various small frames, and each frame is having particular transmission address, and at the receiving side again that particular frame is going to reassemble and make one packet. Multiplexing. It is going to perform the multiplexing at sender side and demultiplexing at the receiver side. At sender side, it accepts the data from one of the upper layer protocol frame and frames them and delivered to the baseband layer. At the receiver side, it accepts the frame from the baseband layer. It extracts the data and delivers them to the appropriate protocol, layer 1. Quality of service requirement. When both the links are established during normal operation, then it is going to handle the quality of service also at that time. It enables device to negotiate the maximum payload size during the connection establishment. Now, what are the protocol available with that particular protocol stack? It means which layer is having which protocol. Like we were having various protocols on our TCP IP layer. On physical layer, some protocol. Data link layer, we're having some protocols. Other layers, application layers are having some protocols here. Bluetooth core protocols are LMP, L2CMP, SDP. Cable replacement protocol is RFCOM. Telephony and control protocol is TCS binary and AT commands. Adapted protocol is UDP, TCP, OBEX, WAP. These are the various protocols. Okay, shall I continue or stop here?
Stop, ma'am, Sina.
Okay, then please write down your branch and enrollment number. If somebody is from IT, then they have to mention, because I am taking subject in CS branch. Okay, I'm stopping here.